Welcome into Rogue Football. I'm your host, Jordan Lugo. Thanks so much for tuning in here. We are one day away from the NFL Combine on-field work kicking off Thursday. You're going to have defensive linemen and linebackers going to roll through the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Fired up to see some of these NFL Combine on-field work, some of the testing. It's going to be really exciting. We did an offensive preview yesterday. Today we're going to look at some potential risers on the defensive side of the ball. We'll go ahead and get into it here. If you enjoy the content, though, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. So we'll start off with the edge group. I think two Penn State guys, Chop Robinson and Adisa Isaac, could absolutely blow the doors off the Combine. I think Chop Robinson is going to have an insane 40-yard dash, probably in the 4.4s, he said earlier today. And then Adisa Isaac, he has great length. He has great explosiveness. He has, I think, a potential to have a really impressive overall showing at the Combine with his 40-yard dash, with his vertical jump, broad jump, some of the quickness. Austin Booker, this is a player who a lot of people are starting to catch on to. Came out to the Senior Bowl and ended up having a really good week. You go look at his tape, you see all the potential in the world. He has a pass rush bag, but right now he's just too light. But this is the type of guy that's going to test incredibly well, super explosive, great length. I just think that he's going to kind of go out there and potentially steal the show with his athleticism. But again, a guy that's going to just need to add weight, only a redshirt sophomore. But if he does add that weight, he has the potential to be a truly dynamic and impactful pass rusher at the next level. Chris Braswell out of Alabama, I think he's going to test super explosive, a guy who kind of gets lost in the shuffle when you talk about Dallas Turner, some of the other edge rushers in this class, but somebody who definitely deserves to be talked about. And again, very explosive, very powerful. I think Nelson Caesar out of Houston, another guy who I thought impressed at the Senior Bowl, he's going to be explosive. I don't know if he's going to be the twitchiest or the quickest, but I think he is going to be very explosive with his 40-yard dash and his 10-yard split, really, and his 40-yard dash and potentially in that vertical jump as well. So I think that's a guy to keep an eye on. A couple Pac-12 edge rushers, maybe not potential risers, but guys with something to prove. Leatu Latu and Braylon Trice are both very refined edge rushers. I think they're going to have nice long NFL careers, be productive starters. But from an athletic standpoint, there are questions about how explosive are they. You know, obviously neither of them have great length, but are they guys that can test well in this type of setting? We'll see how that plays out for them. Again, I think they're going to be fantastic pros, but it all kind of is like, well, how early will Leatu Latu go? How early will Braylon Trice go? I think some of those answers will start to be revealed at the Combine. Defensive tackles, Byron Murphy. How much more can he rise? He's already considered a first-round pick, probably a guy that's going to go in the teens. I think with his testing, he could potentially push for being a top 10 prospect. I really do. I think he's going to just be incredible out there. Chris Jenkins, the son of Chris Jenkins, a guy who was a big-time interior defensive lineman in the NFL for a long time. But this is another Michigan player who they just know how to produce athletes, especially on the defensive front at Michigan. I think Chris Jenkins is going to test really well. He is he's an impressive defensive tackle, really good run stuffer, but someone who I think is going to have explosiveness, is going to have strength, and be impressive out there. Michael Hall out of Ohio State, an interior pass rusher, someone who maybe not a good run defender at this point in his career, but certainly is going to test well. A guy that has so much juice on the interior, someone that I'm excited to see. And again, maybe in a designated pass rusher from the interior early on in his career, but someone who in that role can absolutely thrive. And then you've also got Leonard Taylor here out of Miami, someone who I think the tape is really up and down, but you can clearly see the explosiveness, the athletic ability, somebody who might remind folks a little bit of like a Gervin Dexter last year. Again, another guy. Tape was up and down, but clearly could see the explosive potential as a pass rusher, a penetrator on the interior. At linebacker, Cedric Gray, another Senior Bowler who I thought had a really good week at the Senior Bowl. I think he's going to show out. He's got very good length at the off-ball linebacker position. I think he has good quickness, good fluidity. He's not perfect. None of these linebackers, for the most part, in this class are perfect. Outside of maybe like, Peyton Wilson, I think it has first-round talent. He does not have great length, however, and he has medical issues that's going to be what the combine is all about for Peyton Wilson, because Peyton Wilson will put on a show on the field. It's going to be about the medicals for him. He's had a lot of injuries throughout his career. But yeah, Cedric Gray, I think, will have a nice day and kind of remind people maybe he should be considered among the top linebackers in this class. Edgerrin Cooper, he could test his way into the first round. I really believe that. There's some really impressive tape from him. Yes, there are inconsistencies, especially when you pop on that Auburn game. It was pretty ugly for him. But overall, this is a guy that can just make plays all over the field, has great length, has really good athleticism. Again, I think that he has the most potential to test his way into the first round. I will not have a first round grade on him because, again, I think the eyes, he's got to be able to diagnose better. He's got to be able to play more consistent against the run. But all the physical traits are there for Edgerrin Cooper. Tyron Hopper out of Mizzou. This is a prospect that there's some inconsistencies on tape, no doubt. But when you talk about somebody who is going to test well, Tyron Hopper is going to test well. He's going to run fast. He's going to jump high. I think that he's going to definitely be a name that has buzz on him after he performs at the combine, and he'll be out on the field on Thursday. All these linebackers will. Looking at cornerback, there's a lot of potential guys to talk about here. Going to keep it down to 3. Renardo Green for me out of Florida State is someone, if you pay attention to me on this channel or on my Jaguars channel, Gen Jag, I've been all over Renardo Green for a while. This is a prospect that does not get enough buzz. And you did see Eric Galco, the director of the Shrine Bowl, tweet out about him yesterday, a couple days ago, tagged me in it. This is a prospect that if you run press man coverage, he could be a dynamic starter very early in his career. I think he's going to show the fluidity in the on-field work that really has that's really going to have coaches and scouts really impressed. I think he's going to run well. I think he's going to jump well. Love Renardo Green. I love the game that he brings if you want to run press. Max Melton out of Rutgers. His brother entered the NFL last year, the year before. But Max Melton, I think this is just a family that has tremendous genes. Both of their parents were athletes. Bo Melton is a good athlete. He's over at Green Bay as a wide receiver. I think Max Melton is going to show out as an athlete as well. I think he's going to run fast, jump high. And then Andrew Phillips out of Kentucky as a man coverage corner, as someone who can stick with you from a mirroring standpoint of quickness, fluidity, long speed. I think Andrew Phillips is going to impress with his overall athletic traits at the combine. At safety, Kalen Bullock, he is incredibly light. I think he's maybe 180 pounds, listed at 180 pounds, might be less than that. And again, for safety, that is super light, and that's going to be a concern. But this is someone who, as an athlete, I think he's going to fly. I think he has unbelievable range. I think he's going to run super fast in the 40. I think he's going to jump out of the gym. I really like the potential for him if he's able to add some mass, able to add some strength to his frame to be a dynamic free safety in the NFL, maybe a single high type of guy. Keaton Oladapo out of Oregon State, another safety. I just love him. He and the next guy, Bo Braid, super high on both of them. Keaton Oladapo, he's a bigger safety now. He has more of that strong safety build, but I think he can stick with tight ends in man coverage, running backs in man coverage. I think he's going to be really explosive. I think he's going to show fluidity in the on-field work for the safeties. And I think Bo Braid, he's going to be dynamic in all the testing. I really do believe that. He's so energetic, so athletic out there on the football field, flies to the football, can run, can jump. I think he's quick. I think he's going to have good strength. I just think he's going to be really impressive out there at the combine. And that'll do it here for our defensive potential risers. When you talk about risers, for me, none of these guys will really rise on the board because I know their athletic ability. But what happens every year after the combine is there are folks that move up the board, at least from the media side of it, maybe not from the NFL side of it, but there are guys that move up the board significantly. And then from the NFL side, I think you might see a guy that tests a little bit better than you thought. Go back and check out the tape again and kind of cross-reference, and then maybe he moves up a half a round, probably not a full round, but we'll move up a little bit in your rankings compared to a guy who maybe you liked a lot but didn't quite test as well. So I think that's how it can work out with these risers. But yeah, that'll do it. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content here, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Y'all have a good one.